I'm thinking it's like a broccoli bulgur pilaf. Bulgur is a grain that you find at the Whole Food store. I have 1/8 of a cup dry, and you can use rice instead. You put the bulgur in, so 1/8 of a cup dry, so probably 1/4 cup of water. Let it come to a boil, and then turn it down a little bit and simmer it just like you would cook rice, and then you'll have the water will evaporate. The other part involves a cup of chopped broccoli. I got the frozen kind because I was lazy. 1/3 of a cup chopped onion. 1.5 cups. I am using chopped cabbage. You know, they sell it in the produce section as coleslaw because it was just a whole lot easier. So 1.5 cups of that. Calls for vegetable broth. I think I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup. And I did wash off the top before I'm going to open that. And it calls for a couple of different spices. It said you could use cayenne pepper or Cajun seasoning. So I'm going to use this Bayou Blast spice. Calls for garlic cloves, which I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but my garlic again has gotten soft on me and it's lost all pungency. So I'm going back to the powder. Excuse me. Then we'll have just a dash of cinnamon, soy sauce, black pepper, and this recipe someone sent me called for nutritional yeast. So I explored that at the health food store, and it has nutrients in it, i.e., yeah. So it also has a lot of calories. So I'm going to use 1/8 of a cup of Parmesan cheese instead to give it, because at the health food store they told me that it thickens it, and that it's almost like cheese, like someone said that they use it on popcorn and stuff. So okay, I'm going to use Parmesan cheese instead. So this pan's getting warm. Very warm. Okay, I'm going to saute my onions, and it would be onions and garlic if I had my garlic clove that I could have chopped up. So now it's just going to be the onion. You can simmer fry it in the broth or the water. I'm going to use water now because you add broth when you add those other ingredients. So I want to protect my garlic here. I don't know how much this is. A couple of teaspoons. I'm so generous with my garlic. So saute your chopped onions. Then you're going to add your broccoli and your cabbage. Then you'll add about 1/4 cup of the vegetable broth, and let the cabbage and the broccoli simmer in there so that they'll cook. Meanwhile, my bulgur is simmering back there. And after the broccoli and cabbage cook, which I'm saying won't take 5-10 minutes, after that, or while that's happening, on the side we're going to mix the broth with some of these other spices, and at the end we'll add the broth with the embellished broth, if you will. We'll add that on top, stir it up well, stir in the bulgur, and add the Parmesan cheese. And you'll have a little entree, because there's protein in the bulgur, protein in the cheese. So it'll be nice. Probably will serve 2 people. Okay, the onions are going to continue to cook as this stuff is cooking. Broccoli. And, oh, you can use Brussels sprouts, but since I've had them a lot lately, I decided not to. So I'm going to let this simmer, come to a boil, and then simmer at least 5 minutes. Whoops, not 10. I believe I'll put a lid on it. Check my bulgur back here. I just want the water to evaporate from that. Okay. So over here, another 1/4 cup of broth. And this is just Swanson vegetable broth. Hope you can still see me good. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I choked up like that. That's probably a 1/4 teaspoon there. Just a shake of cinnamon. That was more than I wanted. It kind of came out fast. And then just like a teaspoon of soy sauce, and I have the light. Is that all the spices? Oh, the black pepper. Here's the flour. So that's going to go on. This extra will go on after it's done cooking. And we're not going to have to cook it so that it thickens, I think, but we'll add this and then this and stir it all in good, and then mix in the bulgur. Nice. Okay, I'll get back to you with that. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I don't think that it's done yet, so I'm going to add some water, maybe a bit more broth, and let it cook for another 5 minutes. Okay, I added more water and I let mine simmer probably close to 15 minutes, because I like my vegetables more on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being very mushy and 1 being very crisp. I like mine more like a 7 towards the mushy side. So I let it go a little bit longer. Now actually, I want to turn it up a little bit and get some of that water out before I add in the broth spice mixture, the bulgur, which turned out to be a 1/4 cup cooked, and the Parmesan cheese. Now you do want to turn it down. You add your mixture here. I added too much water, so maybe you won't make yours as runny. And there's the bulgur instead of rice. So I would let it simmer, and I will let it simmer for about 3 minutes, and then it's done. Simmering allows that nice spice and broth to get absorbed into the bulgur and the veggies. And lastly, the truth is I forgot the Parmesan cheese. That's gonna thicken it up there. That's great. Much better. Melt. What an interesting mix of smells, spices. Looks good now. It looks much better. I'm glad I remembered that.